Okay, good morning, everybody. This is Samantha Pruitt, Endurance Town, USA. Today we have the privilege of a great interview we're looking forward to with Briar Rose, who's currently running across the United States of America. And my co-host, Shan Riggs, is also a across America runner and my teammate on Team USA at 1,000 Miles to Light. So this morning,
Woohoo.
we're going to hang out with Briar and ask her a bunch of questions to see what might be going on in her world. How are you feeling over there, girl? How are you doing?
I'm doing really good, thank you. How are you?
We're great. We're great. Shan, how are you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm doing fine.
Have you had enough coffee?
I'm good. We're just day 6 into quarantine. So other than that, I'm doing fine.
Yeah, Shan and I are day 6 in quarantine in Sydney, Australia, prepping for the 1,000 Miles to Light race. So Briar, where are you at this moment?
We are currently about 20 miles away from the Colorado border, so soon we'll be hitting Dinosaur.
Okay, how many days into your run are you?
I'm about, how many days?
It's all a blur, huh?
I know I started June 20th.
Okay, great.
It sounds about 40 days then.
Yeah, about 40 days.
Okay. Well, we would love to understand a little bit more about who you are as a person, as a young lady, and an understanding for how you decided to take on this just fantastic and outrageous in so many ways, but really fabulous challenge. So tell us a little bit about who you are. How old are you?
I'm 15.
You're 15. Okay. And you're currently living in Florida, your home base?
Yes.
Great. So tell us a little bit about how you grew up. Were you growing up primarily in Florida, or where were you raised?
I was raised in Florida.
Okay. And what does your life look like there growing up? Have you been playing sports? What are your hobbies and activities that you do?
The main activities I do is like running, figure skating. That's basically like what I do. And basically like for hobbies, what I like to do in like my free time is I like to make stuff for my farmer's market.
You have a farmer's market?
But I go to our local farmer's market and I make things to help raise money for my training and all other stuff.
Okay, cool. So you're a businesswoman as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so in the running aspect, how young were you when you started running?
I started running like just around the block when I was like 6.
Okay.
And that was just me and my dad running around the block. Then like once I got pretty good at that, I started going a little bit more each time until I got enough to do a half marathon. And then once I realized that I could do a half marathon, I thought, well, since I'm doing all this running and training, I want to earn some bling for this. So yeah. so we found that there was a half marathon that runs in my town where I trained on the same roads.
Wow.
So it was really easy for us. And I went and did it. And it was me and my dad. We always run together. And once I did that, once I finished, I got my medal. I just loved it. It's like I got hooked. And then on my first race, I actually won the under 16 division for the half marathon.
How old were you when you ran this half marathon?
That was when I was 8.
You were 8 years old and you ran your first half
Yes.
marathon, and of course you
Yes.
won your division.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I love it. Was it fun? Did you really enjoy
Yeah.
it?
I loved it.
Was there any suffering? Tell the truth now.
No, honestly, there was nothing.
Wow. That's fantastic. So you and your dad trained together, you run together, and you started racing together when you were 8.
Yes.
Cool. So dad's a big runner. How about any siblings or mom or any other family members who are into running? Just dad? Okay.
The only one that's running is like me.
Uh-huh.
It's like my dad started doing running races because of me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, but like my mom used to race too in like a crank chair.
Oh,
she used to do that kind of racing.
Oh, yes. So the whole family really
And
is into
and she
fitness.
actually won her division in the Boston Marathon.
Yes, Mom. What's your mom's name?
Kirsty,
Oh, awesome. And your dad, what's his name?
Ben.
Fantastic. So the whole family is really into fitness and specifically running.
Yeah.
Okay, you also mentioned figure skating. So do you still figure skate, or was that a sport or a
Yes.
hobby? Okay. So you do that as well.
Yeah, I actually started running as cross training for my figure skating.
Ah,
And then, like I said, when I was training, that's when I got into the races as well.
wow. And then do you have time for school, or is that just not really happening? How are you fitting in school?
Well, my school is online,
Okay.
so and I'm able to access it 24 hours a day all
Okay.
throughout the year. So basically, like I just try and fit it in, like in times when I can fit it in,
Yes.
and I always make sure I fit it in every day.
Okay, cool. And then do you have a group of friends that you train with as well, or friends that you just hang out with and maybe get into a little bit of trouble with?
No trouble.
No trouble
Most
whatsoever.
most certainly no trouble.
Well, it doesn't sound like you really
Oh,
have time for it, do you?
it's
No.
probably hard to find somebody to train with you that's your age, that's going to
Yeah.
be going the distances that you're doing, I would
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah. Or do you
Yeah.
belong to a running
It's.
team of any
I'm
sort?
sorry.
Do you belong to a running team or a track team or any sort? No. Okay.
No.
Wow.
We just have like a local run group in town that's just a bunch of friends and everyone that does it. And I joined them and we just do like a little run around the town.
Once a week.
Yeah, that's like once a week.
What's the name of that club?
Um, it's called the LBV Running Club, I think.
Okay, in Florida. Okay, shout out to
Yeah.
those guys, LB Running Club. That's cool. All right. And then, so in terms of your balancing, it sounds like you're tremendous. Like the capacity that you have for workload and drive and dedication is not really common for somebody your age, never mind starting at 8. That's fantastic. So where do you feel that might have come from, that motivation and that drive that you have?
Well, for running, I guess really it's just seeing like the other people, like when they get to run and they accomplish their race, they get to finish, and they actually accomplish finishing. Because it's like every race, I actually wait for the last person to come across the finish line, and I actually walk with them to the finish line, because usually at that time nobody's there. Everyone's done what they got to do, and everyone's gone home. I always wait for the last person to come in, and I always cheer them in.
Why do you do that? What is important about that moment for you?
To me, it's important because to me, they're the ones that deserve more of like cheering and the medals. They deserve it because they're out there for like 6 hours, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're in like all the heat and everything. They deserve more of the applause.
I agree 100%. I love that. I think that's fantastic. And so in your own running career, you've had a lot of wins, right? And you've had probably your
Yes.
share of challenges as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the most challenging moment that you can remember so far? Not counting your run across America, we're going to get into that, but in other training or racing experiences you've had, has there been a tough go?
I actually had one race that was really windy, and at points of it, I was actually like lifting off the ground. And that was because it was like 45-mile-an-hour winds.
Whoa.
And I was so glad that my dad was there, because I was actually lifting off so much, he had to grab my hand.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's awesome. Did you finish the race?
Yes.
You still finished the race. Of course you did. That's cool. And then what about in terms of your experience so far running or racing? What's a highlight, either a race experience that you did well or something that you're super proud of so far?
The one race that I've been so proud of is the last race I did, which was the London Marathon virtually. And I did that as my personal record of 3 hours and 5 minutes.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. Did they send you
Yeah,
a medal,
Yes.
Shan?
Got some speed.
Yeah, that's the main thing I've been so proud of.
That's fantastic. So you work on speed and long distance, obviously. You haven't picked one or the other. You choose to go take both of them head on, huh?
Yes.
Well, going across the country is about as long a distance as you can choose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Shan's going to ask you a little bit about that experience, why and what. Shan, you're up.
Yeah, and as someone that's crossed, I'd love to get into a little bit of the nitty gritty of kind of what your day to day is like. But maybe to start, so Rose, you and I spoke. Was it maybe 3-4 months ago? I think it was your dad that contacted me to kind of talk about what it's like to run across the country. And I've been following along pretty closely, and it's good to see you're making it close to the Colorado border. But what was it that prompted this? I mean, I couldn't have imagined even considering going a marathon, or even a 10 miles or 10K when I was your age. It didn't occur to me until I was 40 that it might be something to do to cross the country. What was it that prompted this idea?
What prompted this idea was like, I basically got the idea when COVID started. Because when COVID started, obviously all the races got shut down, figure skating got shut down, everything was shut down. And I was thinking, what could I do? And then I suddenly thought of running across America. And the original idea I had actually was running from Disney World to Disneyland. But once
That's a fabulous idea.
yeah, but when I got looking into it, it wouldn't count for like an official like record. The official record is from San Francisco City Hall to New York City Hall. So I decided I want to do the official record instead from San Francisco City Hall to New York City Hall. And I decided to add in the beach as well. So I count as like a true coast to coaster because I'm wet foot to wet foot.
Mhm.
That's great. Yeah, well, and if you would have gone from Disney World to Disneyland, that would be against the wind most of the time. So I'm glad you did
Yes.
go west to east. I'm guessing you did too. And I saw that you're working with Achilles International. I'm a huge fan of that organization as well. Why did you choose them as your charity?
I choose them because my mom was actually she's actually a civilian escort for them to, when they go like the races and stuff. And I love them because they help kids through adults, and they help them get and like all different kinds of disabilities, and they help them whether or not they need encouragement or equipment. They help, and they basically just help them with whatever they need and motivation as well to help them get back out into like races and things like that. And Achilles Freedom Team is they actually go into Walter Reed Clinic in New York, and they actually help all the wounded veterans with basically encouragement, all the equipment they need, fitness, anything like that. And they help them get back out into Boston, Marine Corps, New York. And also Achilles helps everyone in the whole world too.
Wow.
That's
they're-
great.
they're
And if
international?
people, yeah,
Okay.
and if people are motivated to support you and Achilles financially, is there someplace that they could go to help?
Yeah, yes, one way for Achilles is achillesinternational.org, and that goes straight to Achilles. Or else you can do Achilles or like to me on Facebook and Instagram. And you can do it directly to me on Venmo and PayPal. And that's at the Running Rose.
Great.
So I want to get into kind of the day-to-day of how this is going. First off, I want to see you're close to the Colorado border, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know how far you've gone since what was it, July 1st that you started?
I started July 20th.
July 20th.
Um, sorry, not July, June
June
20th.
20th. June
June
20th.
20th.
That makes sense. So you started on the first day of summer to go
Woo!
across
Yeah.
the country. That is, I was fortunate. I started September 1st, and it was pleasant temperatures most of the way. I imagine you've had to deal with some heat since starting on June 20th in
Yeah.
San Francisco, right?
Yeah, we've had all kinds of weather because it's like obviously June 20th is Father's Day, and we just had heat and oh my gosh.
So how do you deal with that? How do you manage dealing with all that heat? What's your strategy?
Basically I just try and run eat like in the mornings and like the late afternoons. I try and like come in the RV and rest for a bit when it like gets really hot. And it's like in Yosemite as well, running through Yosemite, we had extreme heat in the day. It was like 110. And then at night, it was just freezing cold. It was like 50 degrees. And it was just crazy, just the difference in day and night.
And so you're running at all times of the day, it sounds like, whenever you can
Yeah.
get some time in and whenever it's manageable from a temperature point of view.
Yeah.
Wow. So what kind of support do you have? It sounds like your parents are there. Are they following along in a vehicle of some kind, or how are you getting across?
Well, me and my dad, we run together. And
Oh.
we run together.
Oh, okay.
And
He's running
my
with you.
mom is in the support vehicle. She goes like 3 to 5 miles, sometimes a bit more, depends where there's a section that's available to access. And she just pulls up and like checks if we're okay, if we need anything, like if we're good, we keep going. And it's like we even push like the stroller sometimes, not all the time. It depends like how we feel. And we put some of our supplies in the stroller. And like, so if we need any snacks or extra drinks, we have it with us. And we're usually prepared for the rain. So we always keep our rain jackets in there too. Or else, like, if we can't take the stroller, we usually put on like some backpacks and I put on my flip belt. And we just switch between the two.
Maybe take us through a day in the life. When are you getting up? How far are you going? When do you stop? How does all that work? And maybe give like I don't know, what are you doing today or yesterday, or what are you planning tomorrow? Any kind of example you could give?
Well, we get up at about 7. We get up at about 7. And then basically, like, as soon as I'm ready, we start running. Then, like, in the mornings, like, I have, like, my protein shake in the morning. And I get all, like, my drinks and supplies ready. Like, any snacks, just get that all ready. Then, usually, like, we usually load up the stroller. And then we get going on our run. Then, like, sometime, I don't know, like, midday, we usually like come in and like have like a lunch, try and have a break from the heat, and then we go back out running again. And then usually, obviously, I just eat when I need to, and then basically we just
eating.
I'm sorry.
What kind of things are you eating? I know for me at least, when it's that hot, I have a hard time eating anything solid.
Well, obviously, due to my allergies, I eat vegan, gluten-free, peanut, and banana-free. So, yeah. So I basically just eat. I eat burgers, pasta, lots of rice, like potatoes. I really like baked potatoes.
Yeah, me too.
And then also another thing I like to eat too is we actually stocked up at Sweet Theory. They're in Jacksonville, Florida, and they make all like allergy cakes. And in my personal opinion, they are the best cakes I've ever had. And we actually stocked up before we went, and we have a whole freezer in the back that we just filled up with the cake.
Yes, girl, that's exactly right. So you're gluten-free, and what were your other allergies?
Vegan for allergies, peanuts and bananas.
Wow. Check you out.
Samantha can relate. She
I can
has some of
totally
the same-
relate. Yeah, I'm dairy-free and gluten-free, and it is more challenging for athletes. And you're so young to be disciplined to figure that out and to be able to follow through. Because if we can't eat enough food or the right foods, it radically affects our performance. Our brain and our body function. So, well done. I love that you've got the cakes loaded up. I wish I'm in quarantine right now for 14 days. The American team, we all are. I wish I had a whole freezer full of gluten-free desserts. I couldn't have brought it on the plane. They might have thought I was very strange. But anyway, good for you, girl. That's great.
So that gets you through the middle of the day. It's still hot. If you're waking up at 7, it's probably hot when you start. How long into the afternoons or evenings do you go?
It just depends. It depends like on each day, because like I always always try to average about like 40 miles a day. And it just depends, like, because obviously I don't know what the terrain's going to be like, because literally sometimes we're running on roads, sometimes we're running on like slopes and grass and cobblestones.
Yeah. How are you deciding?
Gravel.
How are you deciding what your path is?
We're basically just trying to follow Pete Kosnick's route, because I think he took like the shortest route from San Francisco to New York, and also that's the official record route too. So that's why I'm following his route.
Yeah, you must have been across a lot of lonely roads in Nevada and Utah.
Yes. Yeah, it was definitely odd not seeing as many cars as I'm used to seeing, but it was definitely nice because obviously I didn't have to watch for cars as much, so I was able to get more of my speed going, which was really good.
What kind of support vehicle is your mom driving?
She's driving an RV.
Like a big, from the pictures I saw, it looks like a big one,
Yes,
like a big Class A.
it's big.
Wow, well, kudos to her to be able to find a place to park every few miles then.
Yeah, it does get hard sometimes because we're actually towing our car in the back too, so that makes us even longer.
What?
Oh, wow.
So are you sleeping in there then?
Yeah, we'll sleep in the RV.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. I did see that looks like you've had some places give you a place to park or a place to stay. How have you found the people along the way? Have you seen much support?
Oh yes, yeah, we've definitely had lots of honking, lots of waving. Yeah, I knew I would get some honks and waves, but I didn't think it was going to be this many. And I'm very glad to have them all. And also, it's like when I carry my flag across America, where I'm carrying the American flag across America, I'm getting lots of honks and waves for that too.
Are you carrying a flag all the time?
Yes.
Wow. Does that make your hand or your shoulders or anything like that hurt?
Well, when we're pushing a stroller, I have a little holder that we made, then we put in a stroller. And then, so I'm not having to physically hold it, but it's still with me. And when we don't have the stroller, me and my dad swap out who's carrying it. So we're always carrying it with us.
Wow, I didn't even like to have a water bottle. It was too much weight for me to carry. So I can't imagine trying to push a stroller and carrying a flag up those mountains, because it's definitely, where you've been through is not flat at all.
Especially with the headwind, because we've actually gone up the mountain with the headwind at us as well.
And then plus your mom has to drive the RV up and over those mountains with the car behind it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like sometimes
mom deserves a medal at this point.
Yes. Yeah, most definitely.
So do you have a goal for either time-wise? So the next big challenge, right? You're getting close to the Colorado border, so you're going to have to start climbing the Rockies pretty soon. How are you going to manage that?
Well, usually again, like really like mountain areas, we usually swap out, like I said, the backpacks and our flip belts, because that's a lot easier.
Yeah.
And then like on the uphill, sometimes we're doing like really slow jogs, sometimes walking, just so we can have just so it's easier and we can get up there more efficiently. And then like on the downhill, I like running on downhill.
Mhm.
And so that's where I kind of like make up for my time, like on the downhill.
Well, once you get over the pass do you know where you're going to cross the pass in the Rockies?
Around E Basin. Oh, sorry, I mean A Basin.
Got it. So, and then once you get over that, it is mostly downhill until you
Yeah.
get to the Midwest.
Yeah, that definitely sounds good.
Do you know, are you going through, once you go through Colorado, are you going through Nebraska or are you going through somewhere else?
I'm basically going to be following like the 80 all the way across.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, sometimes I'm like sometimes gotta go a bit off it and then come back towards the 80. Well, no, not on the 80, but there's like a little service road next to it. That like
Yeah.
next to 80. So I'm gonna be running on like the little service road. So
Yeah, it's not legal to run on the freeway, but
oh no.
anywhere else.
Be
So,
careful, be careful. I want to get an idea of how many miles a day you're running.
I'm averaging about 40 miles.
40 miles a day? And is your
Yeah.
dad running with you the whole time, 100% of the time?
Yes.
Wow, dad's super fit too. Check you guys out. That's a lot of miles, Shan, is it not?
yeah, that's about what I did when I did it. So that was full day every day.
Yeah.
Do
Exactly.
you have a goal for when you want to get to New York?
September, basically like kind of like middle to end September.
Great.
Is there a significance around the time that you picked to do it, the dates, or anything specific that brought significance to when you were going to do it?
Not really. But I just trying to make sure that I finish before the Boston Marathon, because I'm actually invited to run and close down the Boston Marathon with the race director.
Great, fantastic.
That's
Okay,
good.
so
Well,
you're
and
going to do
it's
that.
good you have to look forward to.
Yeah, and then like 2 weeks after that, I'm actually going to be running Marine Corps as well.
Got it.
And also, I'm very excited to run that too, because I know Achilles goes to Marine Corps as well.
So how's your body holding up? Do you have injuries, blisters, anything like that?
I just get like the odd blister, and I use like compression bags. Yeah, and I use a add-a-day recovery massage gun. And then I use like a roller stick, and I have different size like rolling balls for my feet to make sure that I don't get any like pain or soreness or stiffness, to make sure everything's all good.
Yeah, especially with as hot as it's been. That's gotta be tricky.
Are you saying you're
Yeah.
not having any soreness or stiffness? Come on now. You're running 40 miles a day.
Okay, well, there's a slight bit of soreness, but
Sure.
like nothing like major.
Okay, how about dad? How's dad faring? Is he
Yeah.
sore? Is he hobbling around back there?
A little bit.
That's awesome.
As she looks off to the side, so he doesn't want to admit it, sounds like.
I'm sore just thinking
Yeah.
about it.
So when I was pressing, I was worried about a couple things: the cars and then also dogs. Have you had any trouble, had any close calls with either of those?
Well, cars I've actually had. Now, I knew this was going to happen, but I didn't think this many would happen. I actually have had 3 people deliberately come off the road towards where we were, and at that and where we were actually in the grass areas on the side of the road, and they deliberately drove off and almost basically tried to run into us.
Wow.
So we literally had to jump off as far as we could, but to make sure they didn't hit us.
That's insane. Is there any, do you have conversation with them? Did you call the police? How did you handle that?
No,
you
they just drove off and we just left it as that.
They were just being ridiculous, huh?
Yeah, basically.
What a shame.
Yeah, you said earlier that you're getting honks and waves. At least in my experience, about 90% of those were positive, and then maybe a handful of those are negative honks and waves, which I don't know why anybody would be against somebody who's running.
Oh, yeah.
But there are people out there that aren't so pleasant.
Yeah, they're having a bad day, and they actually don't even know what you're doing or why you're doing it, so it's not a personal thing, but they just are having their own bad day during this pandemic, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we've actually had quite a few people actually stop and offer us a ride.
Oh,
and it's like, I'm
awesome.
so sorry I can't have a ride.
Have you met any police?
Yes.
And how is that going?
It's all been really good. Very supportive, very friendly, all good.
That's great. And what about dogs? Have you ran into any friendly or not so friendly?
We've had a couple of unfriendly dogs, but most of the dogs we've seen have been friendly. Because like a few days ago, we've actually had one follow us from its home.
Uh-oh.
And we were actually on the road, and it's like, you need to go back home before like somebody accidentally runs over you. and it's obviously like we were just trying to like go home, and like eventually the dog did go home.
Yeah, I had to hide in my RV to get a dog to go home. We almost had him permanently on our expedition. I remember by the time you were where you are, I felt like I was an expert on roadkill. I'm guessing you've seen a lot of that on the way. Any comments on both live or dead animals? Have you seen much in the way of anything interesting from that perspective?
Well, I knew I was gonna see dead animals on the side of the road, but I never thought it'd be this many. And one thing that really got me was like we were in like Nevada area. Yeah, we were like 10 miles from the border of Nevada and Utah. And like in like 2 or 3 days, we saw 3 mountain lions on the side of the road.
What?
Wow.
Dead?
Yeah, all dead.
Wow.
But it's like, I looked over and it's like, what's that? And it's like, I've never seen it before. It's like, oh my gosh, that's a mountain lion.
Wow.
Yeah, and they were really big too. And the funny thing was, we were actually talking to a highway patrolman, and we actually said to him that we've seen like 3 mountain lions on the side of the road. He's like, I've never seen a mountain lion on the side of the road. It's like, a few miles back, there's one right on the side of the road. And he just couldn't believe it that I saw 3.
Yeah, you see things when you're on foot that you don't see when you're in a car or even on a bicycle.
Oh,
when
yeah.
you're going that speed, it is a unique perspective.
Yes.
What about the interesting characters? Have you met any interesting characters along the way and had any kind of exchange? Quirky people.
We the only thing that we've come across, or that my support vehicle came across, was this is when she was driving ahead to pull in. She actually was first on the scene of a car crash.
Oh.
So yeah, so once we caught up, we stayed there for a little while because obviously we had to make sure the person was all right. She definitely needed our help. And after that, we then kept going for a few more miles to where we were going to pull and sleep for the night.
Wow.
Good for you. Yeah. See, it's those kind of times that you just never know what's going to happen, right? Every day is an adventure.
Yes.
Are there anything that you've seen that is especially memorable? And is there anything looking forward that you're looking forward to or dreading?
Things that I definitely would say that are memorable are Yosemite, because I just loved all like the scenery there and especially the stars. Because before base Yosemite, I never really saw as many stars as I did in there. And I just loved looking up at the sky when it was nighttime. And then the other things that I definitely thought were memorable was Amy's drive-through. That was really good.
What's
Is that
Amy's
burger?
drive-through?
Yeah, what's that?
It's a allergy drive-through. There's a company that starts making like frozen meals
Amy's, yeah.
in California,
Yeah.
and Amy's drive-through is in San Francisco, and
What?
we're actually running past. Yeah, we were running past them, and we actually went. We actually ran that way so we could stop at Amy's, so we could stop there and have some food.
Okay, I didn't even know that existed, and I have to make that happen. Thank
She's
you.
made Samantha's making a note to make
I
sure
totally
she
am.
gets it.
Oh yeah, it's definitely worth going to Amy's drive-through.
Oh yeah. What did you have?
All right.
What did you have?
I ordered a chocolate milkshake. I ordered a couple of pizzas and fries.
A couple of pizzas.
And you ate all those at
Yeah.
once, or are you saving those for later?
No, I saved the pizza for later, and I ate the shake, the pizza, and the fries. And me and my dad, they had the Amy's burger.
Mhm.
And they had my dad had fries too, and we all had shakes.
Wow.
And I guess
okay.
that's a good time to ask. So I burned about 4,500 calories, or I consumed about 4,500 calories a day. I think I probably burned more than that because I lost 10, 12 pounds when I crossed. But I'm a different size and age than you are. Do you know how much you're eating?
I'm honestly not sure, but it's definitely a lot. It's definitely more than normal.
How are you maintaining your weight and your strength then? Have you lost
Not-
weight?
No, I haven't lost weight.
Okay.
That's great.
The main thing I really like having is like protein shakes.
Mm.
And obviously when it's hot, it's nice to have a cold shake.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah. Well, and I remember those stars too. I think there's it's a rarity for Americans these days to get out to a place where you can actually truly see the stars and the Milky Way and all that. So that's something extraordinary to be able to have that opportunity to see.
Oh yeah, and it was actually the first time I ever saw the Milky Way too.
Mm.
That's great. Yeah. And you were in Yosemite when you saw that?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yosemite and Nevada are probably some of the best places in the world to be able to, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, to be able to see the skies.
Yeah, Nevada is really good too at points.
Yeah. That's amazing. So now you're starting to climb the Rockies pretty soon, right? So what are you looking forward to coming up? And are you nervous about anything that's coming?
I'm not really nervous about anything that's coming. I'm just very much looking forward to the flat, especially after the Rockies.
Yeah, it's a hilly country, isn't it?
Mhm,
Yes.
mhm.
Well, you have some supreme confidence. You don't seem very flustered by any of this coming up.
Not really.
That's amazing. All the running in 100-degree heat, 40 miles a day.
Yeah.
You're able to maintain weight. That's extraordinary.
I know, I'm so curious, Briar, about your people in your age group. You're 15, right?
Yes.
And you've been running since you were 8.
Mhm.
So a lot of preteens and teenagers are not having very active lifestyles these days because everything is so oriented towards the internet and digital life and
Mhm.
all of that kind of stuff. And you've chosen a different path for yourself, obviously. But then in addition to that, the pandemic occurred. And so even youth that were very active on, sports teams or at school or whatever, that was removed from their life because of the pandemic. And I'm
Yeah.
very curious how you feel about that. What were you witnessing with your peers? And what was your experience versus what you see happening with other teams around the world and in America?
Obviously, to me, sports is very important to do. Like it's very like sad that it obviously had to go for a little while.
Mhm.
But at least like sometimes you can do, like, I know it's not accessible to all people, but sometimes you're able to do like a smaller version of sports, like in your yard, sometimes in your house, which is obviously good to try and do.
Mhm.
And it's always good to like try and like stay active in your home too,
Mhm.
which I think is a good way of trying to help keep the sports area going, and also to increase like your health and fitness and everything like that. So you can, so then when COVID's all over, so then you're basically all ready to go and you're stronger than you were basically like when it started. So you're ready to go back out into all those competitions and anything else.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
even
so
if you're not really an athletic person before or, at any point, how do you think it affects your emotional and your mental health? How do you think that's been going?
That's been going really good.
Yeah. And is it because of sport? And what would you say?
Yeah.
So how have you used that to your advantage, especially as a teen, to keep, emotionally sound and feeling good in your mind and your heart?
They basically having like goals to go towards.
Mm.
And it's like during my goals that I want to go towards, I sometimes you come across obstacles. And to me, it's the obstacles that I like going over, because I know that once I go over those obstacles to get to my goal, I know I definitely deserve my goal.
Yes. And the fact that you're able to accomplish it. Well, you set that goal for yourself, that big goal. You're not about small goals, obviously. You're about big goals. You set that goal and then you work hard to achieve it. And there's a tremendous sense of pride and accomplishment and self-confidence that comes from that, huh?
Yes.
And do you try and teach that to other young people?
Yes.
Excellent, because we need more of you in the world, please.
how did you train? How do you train for something like this, especially at your age?
When I was trained at home, what I did was like one of the main things I know I had to get used to was like pushing like a stroller, because I wasn't used to pushing a stroller. So what I did was when we got our stroller, I actually put our basset hound in there, because she loves it. And sometimes what I do is like we have little like bridges around where we live, and I would usually like help her get out the stroller, and she would run with me through the bridges because she loves it. And like she gets a break for a little bit, and she comes out again. Like there's some days she does like 3 miles with me.
Wow.
I'm not familiar with too many hills in Florida. How did you train for
No.
the mountains?
Basically I couldn't really, because like you said, there isn't any hills in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So you just went and did it.
Yes. It's definitely been difficult, but as I've been going through the mountains, I found it's getting easier for me to go through the mountains.
So you're almost being trained as you're doing this. Your body's probably
yeah.
adjusting as you go.
Yeah.
There's one advantage of youth right there. And are you taking any days off? Are you taking rest days?
Sometimes.
Do you have a schedule or just trying to listen to your body?
I don't have a schedule. It just depends on how I feel each day.
Yeah.
That's great.
And are you doing school too, or you're on summer break right now?
Right now I'm doing summer break.
Okay, but that's coming up, I guess. So you got to
Yes.
hurry and get finished so you can start school.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll let you start a little bit later, huh?
And
Yeah.
this is a world record attempt, correct?
Yes.
Wow.
And do you know what the record is that exactly that you're going for, and what it is that you have to beat?
It's the record to be the youngest person to run the official route of San Francisco City Hall to New York City Hall.
And do you know what the youngest was before this?
Officially, there isn't. So
So you'll be the fastest known time because you'll be the first.
Mhm.
yeah. Oh, actually, everyone else that was younger that ran across America, they took the southern route,
Mhm.
which was a lot easier and it's a lot shorter.
Mhm.
So one of our teammates, Briar, here with us on Team USA, there's 4 of us Americans getting ready to do 1,000 miles to light. Our other female teammate, Katie Visco, was at that time when she ran across America in 2019. She was the youngest female, and I think she was 21. But it wasn't an official record or anything of that nature. I was talking to her last night about interviewing you today. So she's really excited to meet you. She's going to reach out to you on social.
Okay.
Yeah. But you're crushing it in terms of age, and you're doing all the official records. So why was that important to you? That it be official?
It was important to me for it to be official because I guess I just wanted to be like officially done. So I'd like sort of like officially named, and like there was like I'm officially like basically like when you like run a race and you get your bling.
Yeah.
To me, that's like a way of knowing you officially did it.
Yeah.
So it's like the reason why I want officially done as like a Guinness World Record is it's kind of like the same concept to me. And like so I know I have the Guinness World Record.
Yeah, and I also sense that you're the type of human being that's not into shortcuts or doing the easy things. You know what I mean? You're very
No.
into setting your life on a certain path because of the nature of who you are as a person. So it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Shan, do you have any more specific questions about the?
Oh, I have lots more questions, but
We've got just a couple minutes
but
left.
we should let Rose get on with your day at some point. Do you have more miles to go today?
Yeah, I got some more to do.
Yeah. How many?
About 20.
20.
All right.
Hey, Briar, you'll
Yeah,
be
so-
the out of this.
So
Shan and
we
I-
don't want to keep you. It's what is it going on 3-4 o'clock there?
Yeah, it's like 3:47 here.
Okay, so you're going to be running well into the evening. At least
Yeah.
it's starting to cool down then.
Yes.
Yeah, we're running with you in spirit here, Team USA. So we're in quarantine for 14 days isolation by ourselves, and we all have treadmills in our private rooms. We're not allowed to leave the room or have any human contact. So we're running on treadmills, which is hilarious. So if you're bored, look at our socials and you'll see us doing the most ridiculous things in our hotel rooms, trying to stay fit and get ready for this race. And we're running like hamsters on. And Shan's right above me in the hotel room above me. So I hear him just thrashing on the treadmill like 5 times a day. It's hilarious.
Well, I'll try to get 20 miles in today in your honor. So I'll
Yes.
annoy Sam all afternoon.
Oh, you just froze there, Rose. Did we lose you? Briar? Briar, are you there? I think we might have lost her.
She probably was ready to go anyway.
Yeah, totally. We'll give her just a minute and then I'll wrap it up. Okay. So that's Briar Rose. She's running across the United States of America right now, setting a world record for the youngest human to run across America. It's just mind-boggling. Just a fantastic young human in the world. We need more of her right now, don't we?
Yeah, and she seemed so casual about it. I think when you're that young, it doesn't seem like such an extraordinary experience because it's just your day-to-day life.
Yeah, it's just phenomenal that she would even not have, the courage to do the thing, but just even to create the dream that it was possible and then to have the courage and the discipline to follow through and do all the training, preparation, organization, and then ultimately, be up to her eyeballs in it and still completely comfortable in her skin, in her body, and in her brain, making this happen. I mean, I'm so proud of her.
Yeah, and it sounds like her crew with her parents is pretty no drama. I didn't hear a lot of tension in that group, which I think if you're going to try to do something that big, that's important. You see these extreme athletic events on TV. They try to make it seem like there's a lot of screaming and yelling and drama going on. Like, that's really only the TV version. If it's successful, it's the people that are successful in climbing mountains and crossing continents are the ones that can do it, without the drama.
Yep. Oh, Briar's logged back on. Hey, Briar, sorry we missed you for a minute. We were just talking about how wonderful you are.
Yes.
Can you give us,
So-
as we
so-
wrap up, what's that, darling?
So sorry about that. My internet actually overheated.
Oh, no problem. We're going to wrap up the show, but we would love for you to give a couple closing thoughts. Anything you'd like to share with us or the audience?
Basically, just keep running.
Just keep running. I love it.
Achilles, anything else to say about Achilles, where people should go, or what it is that how people can help?
Well, one of the main ways to help Achilles is through achillesinternational.org. That's their own fundraising page.
Okay.
And also they're also looking for guides, which is a really good thing to do too. Because I'm looking forward to hoping to be a guide in the future.
Okay.
Great.
And then what guides do is like they tell you like if there's an athlete that needs a guide. So whatever the race the athlete is doing, you get paired up with the athlete as their guide, and you get to run with them, and you do whatever they need basically like you to do.
Wow.
And then you just run with them through the whole race and give them encouragement and everything.
Okay, I'm going to sign up for that. So we can donate to them. And how about donating directly to you to support your effort in finding you on social media?
For donating to me, that's on my Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
My Facebook is Briar-Rose H-S, and my Instagram is the.running.rose, and it goes directly through either Venmo or PayPal.
Okay.
And that's at The Running Rose.
The.running.rose.com.
Yeah.
Say the website one more time. Okay. Just making sure I had.
Oh, no, I don't have a website.
Oh, no website. Okay. So just the social media handles.
Yes.
Okay. Got it. And there's links there.
All over on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, we're so proud of you. We're excited that we got to meet you. It's quite an honor, and we cannot wait to watch the rest of your journey. We're confident you'll be successful, young lady, in everything you do, not just running across America.
Thank you.
Keep it up.
Well done, lady.
Go get your
Proud of
20
you.
in.
We'll see you at the end, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Take care, Briar.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.